Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Monday night therapy. Did you guys miss me? Did you miss me? Monday night therapy for the New Jersey Devils faithful. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that like button. Smash. I messed up. I'm a little dirty devil, guys. I can't start all over. Hit the subscribe, smash the like, share it with a friend. Thank you very much. I can't believe I messed that up. I'm exhausted. I'm mentally and physically drained. Wow, guys, here we are. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share it with a friend. Thank you very much. And everyone's here for the therapy. Oh, yes, we all need the therapy indeed. But first, I'd like you all to get comfortable, settle in, pour yourself a nice drink. I'm going to go with the Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Just going to have a little bit of that on the ice here for tonight's therapy. But I would be a terrible fan, I guess, if I did not first, before we get to the therapy, if I did not first touch on the absolute bombshell out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, earlier this afternoon or this morning. I'm not exactly sure when it actually came out, but made headlines. In case you were not aware, Jim Rutherford, the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, cheers to all you guys, the GM of the Vancouver Canucks had his end of season media availability. And first thing I'd like to, say, before I even get to the bombshell that he dropped at the very end of a roughly 50-minute presser, if you sit and watch that, the media availabilities in what I would call real hockey markets, which is basically all of Canada and, the big traditional powerhouse hockey markets in the States, the media is very different overall from the New Jersey Devils, obviously, as many of you know, but they field some real tough questions. And in this end of season media availability, Jimmy Rutherford and the other dude that was up there with him, I actually don't even know who he is. Some other, he's either the president or some other suit was up there with Rutherford, and they took some real heated questions from the media, and they stood trial. Shout out to them for, having this type of forum. And most real, like I said, hockey markets do. You will never see Fitzgerald sit there and what I would call, for lack of a better term, a shooting gallery, if you will, of media. And they were just letting them rip anything they wanted about players, the season, and they were answering them to their credit. But at the end of this 50-minute or so session, somebody in the media had asked about Quinn Hughes, with his contract being up in 2 years and kind of the outlook on Quinn Hughes. And that is when Jimmy just lost all sensibility. I mean, Jimbo kind of went off the handle, in my opinion. Now, I'm curious to see if anything happens with this, but essentially in response to the question about Quinn Hughes and his contract status, he essentially said that, I'm not going to say verbatim, but something close along the lines of, it might not be just money with him. And he said, or actually, I don't want to mess this up. Before that, I think he said, we're committed to Quinn. Part of that is planning ahead. They were talking about planning their teams in the future and constantly looking at what the team looks like next year and the season after, et cetera, et cetera. And all teams do this, obviously, playing with cap projections and where prospects might be. Kind of an organizational depth chart into the future. But he mentioned, having the cap space and the money to give him the contract offer that he deserves or something like that, meaning they're obviously going to back up the Brinks truck and offer Quinn Hughes mega money. But then he added, it might not come down to just money for him. And then he kind of paused, I believe. And then he was like, he wants to go play with his brothers. Like, whoa, hold on a minute, Jimmy. Loose lips sink ships. And Jimbo was just serving it up on a platter. So he says, and then he said he wants to go play with his brothers, or he said he wants to play with his brothers. And then he said something like, that's sort of out of our control, something. And then basically was like, unless we bring his brothers here, like, to me right away, when I first heard this, I thought for sure that this very well may be just crossing the line of tampering. Now, I've been looking into definitions of tampering, and I will say it does seem like a huge gray area. And so I don't expect there to be any sort of disciplinary action into this. I don't think. And in the end, I don't even care. And I'm going to get to why in a minute. I don't think, while it may constitute tampering, I don't think, being that they're Vancouver in the position that they're in, I don't think something like that would potentially remotely harm the Devils negatively. Like, obviously, a lot of people were, speculating that, oh, Quinn's a free agent in 2 years. Does he want to play with his brothers? And I would imagine up until this point that the common logic, right? And especially if you have a brother or anyone with siblings, like it makes sense, right? Why wouldn't, 2 of the 3 are already on the team. How cool would it be for all 3 of your brothers that are somewhat close in age and grew up playing hockey together to now be playing on the biggest stage on an NHL team together, trying to win a Stanley Cup together? So it's obviously an amazing thing. And you would think, without any sort of confirmation or quotes, that obviously Quinn probably would want to come play with Luke and Jack in New Jersey now. But up until this point, it was just kind of common sense logic, if you will, that would get you to that point. And again, I think anyone with half a brain, no matter who you're a fan of, whether it's a Devils fan, a Canucks fan, or a team, any other team, if there's 2 guys, 2 of the 3 brothers on one team, you would think the other one would try to get there at some point. And so now Quinn's contract is up in 2 years. He will be an unrestricted free agent. The question's asked, and then he says he wants to play with his brothers. And then he talks about, again, unless it's out of my control, unless I brought them here somehow. I don't think this, even if it is tampering, it's not going to hurt the Devils, because the biggest reason, number one, I don't think Vancouver is really in a much better position than the New Jersey Devils in terms of competitive, Stanley Cup type teams on the horizon. If you guys didn't know, the future is bright for the New Jersey Devils. I mean, it's been solar eclipse bright for the past decade. Future is bright, but my point is the Canucks aren't this powerhouse. And so I do believe, if you're just equating which one am I more likely to win a cup in, I would say it's kind of a 50-50. If I'm not even going to get there. But I would say they're on fairly equal footing in that regard. Where the Devils have the massive advantage is, first and foremost, it's an American team. These are American boys, good old American boys. This is a team in New Jersey. You could play in much worse markets or geographic areas. I'm sure Luke and Jack both have kind of, if not love the area, they at least like it somewhat, and all the things that it does afford to guys their age. They could go to the city and go to all these places and get good food, blah, blah, blah. They've both been here now for a little while. Jack, obviously, longer. And so you could be in a worse market. New Jersey, geographically, and being in America, again, for a Hughes brother, and for all of them, obviously a way better place than Vancouver, like hands down. And then obviously the other big advantage the Devils have outside of New Jersey versus Vancouver, we already have 2 of the 3 brothers. Duh. We already have 2 of the 3. Jack and Luke are already here. Jack's here for a while longer. Luke seems like he's going to be extended. He's a restricted free agent. Looks like, you would imagine he's going to sign a long-term extension at some point in the very near future. And so that gives you 2 of the 3 Hughes brothers here for a long time. What is the only missing piece of the puzzle? The third and final Hughes brother being Quinn Hughes. Now, lots of people, again, I think it'd be cool, but I'm not, clamoring to see this like a lot of other people are. It seems like there's just a large contingency of Devils fans that are just clamoring at the thought of having all 3 Hughes brothers. And listen, they're all very good players. And while I think it'd be awesome, Quinn is arguably a top 5 player in the league. I do feel like the money could be better spent, on forward help, but I'm not going to be, like mad if we get him. I'm just not dying to see it like everyone else is. But a lot of people are talking about, oh, trade for Quinn. This even further cements to me that there is no point in trading for Quinn, because now Rutherford himself has confirmed that Quinn wants to play with his brothers. So what does that mean? It's obvious what that means, guys. In 2 years from now, when he is an unrestricted free agent, Quinn Hughes will be a New Jersey Devil. That is right, my friends. Start the countdown on July 1, 2027. So you're talking about roughly 26 months from now. 26 short months from now, Quinn Hughes will be a New Jersey Devil, and it will cost the Devils. Get ready for this, guys. Get ready for it. Close your eyes. zero assets to sign Quinn Hughes in free agency. Zero. After 2 more seasons, he could come here for no assets to the New Jersey Devils outside of sign on the line that is dotted. Here is this truck full of money. Congratulations, buddy. You are a New Jersey Devil. And we now have all 3 Hughes brothers. For anyone to want the team to trade for Quinn Hughes, you guys are nuts. I'm here to tell you, you are nuts. For people that constantly look to the future and talk about how bright the future is, it's only 2 years away. We could get him for nothing. To trade for him would be an astronomical package. And now I kind of rewind back to Jimmy Rutherford for a minute. Now, why do I think he said this at the press conference? And I'm very curious, again, if this is going to count as tampering or not. I think you could make the argument that it was. I could also see the defense argument for why it's not. A very gray area, very, very cloudy, murky waters he's playing in. And then to make it even funnier, he even joked about, like, oh, maybe that was tampering after the fact. Like, what? He made the joke about it as if, like, that makes it go away after he realized he said something he probably shouldn't have. And then he was like, yeah, maybe I crossed the line on that one or something like that. The guy's a total loose cannon. I absolutely love it, uncensored. But we now have a concrete confirmation from the mouth of Jim Rutherford, GM of the Vancouver Canucks, that Quinn Hughes, in fact, wants to play with his brothers. They're both on the New Jersey Devils. It doesn't take a genius here to figure out the math. And the math is that Quinn Hughes will be a New Jersey Devil on July 1, 2027. Let the countdown begin. Now, with that being said, back to the people that want to trade for him. He could come here for nothing in 2 years. Now, in some fantasy world where they were going to trade him here for nothing to get him sooner, obviously I would do that, but that's not reality. And so I believe Jimmy Rutherford said this for one main reason, and it wasn't to try to influence Jack and Luke Hughes to somehow want to come to Vancouver and then for Tom Fitzgerald to somehow want to trade them there. That ain't happening. The ownership group is all in on the Hughes brothers. Fitz is all in on the Hughes brothers. They're going nowhere. We have 2 of the 3. The third one is coming here. It is now imminent. But Jim Rutherford said this, I do believe, to sort of now, I don't know what the term would be, to, I guess, condition or, kind of prepare, I would say, the Canucks fan base that in the end, if and when Quinn Hughes inevitably leaves, it's not on the team because he's looking for something that the team can't offer, and that is to play with his brothers. That only exists in one place on planet Earth, and that is in New Jersey, on the Devils, with Jack and Luke. That's the only way it could happen. And so I do think he's trying to set the table here for the fans to realize, like, okay, well, Quinn is going to be gone in 2 years. There's nothing we could do about it. And why does he want to condition them to start thinking that? Because now, like any other normal, sensible GM, he now realizes he has an asset that's expiring, and he's got to cash it in. And now I would not be shocked. Now, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's clear that Quinn wants to play with his brothers. And so if I was Jim Rutherford, if I'm being honest, it doesn't seem like the Canucks are really going to be a true contender in the next 2 years. If I'm Jim Rutherford, I'm taking calls on him starting now because your max value to get on Quinn Hughes would be for 2 full seasons with 2 playoffs. Even with everyone knowing that he wants to go to the Devils, a team could essentially take him in as a 2-year rental right now and try to win a cup in the next 2 years, knowing you have no chance of signing him. And I think that with all of those facts in play, teams would still give a fortune to have 2 full years of Quinn Hughes. And so I don't think Rutherford's, not understanding of that. And I would not be shocked if they trade him sooner than later. I think they realize the writing's on the wall, and they're now trying to, get the fan base to realize, like, look, this is the spot we're in. And as a fan, how could you be mad knowing that he's not going to sign there? If they traded him for a massive haul this summer, how could Canucks fans really be mad? I don't think they could, because he's going to be gone. And so unless you truly believe you're going to win the cup in the next year, I mean, they're definitely not going to keep him past the deadline in year 2. That would just be completely crazy. So you're definitely going to trade him, if not, sometime soon, at the latest at the deadline, when he's then just a rental for just the playoffs, and his value would be much less than it is now. So I'm very curious to see how this all plays out. Will Jimbo in Vancouver get hit with any sort of penalty or anything for the tampering that I believe he did do? We'll see. And how does this kind of affect the Quinn Hughes situation? Or do they just say, screw it, we're going to try to win the cup the next 2 years with him, and after that, wish him the best of luck in New Jersey with his brothers? I'm very curious to see how it all plays out. But in the end, if I'm the Devils, I am not trading for him. I just would not be able to part with assets knowing you could get him for free in 2 years. And you'd have to give a ton of stuff that hurts the team Quinn is coming to. If I was Quinn Hughes, I'd be begging them, just wait the 2 years, because he's coming to a team probably to end his career at that point. I assume he signed a long-term deal, and it would be, if not till the end of his career, for the bulk of the rest of his career. And why weaken the team? You should be wanting to come to a team that's as loaded as possible to really try to win with your two brothers now. So I don't know. Very curious. But for the people that want to trade for him, I'm sorry to tell you, I think it's completely maniacal. You wait 2 years, you get him for absolutely nothing. And it is what it is. But that's my kind of thoughts on Jim Rutherford talking way too much at an end of season press conference, and kind of the, bearing on the future. We'll be very curious to see how it plays out. But if I was another team that thought I was a Quinn Hughes away from potentially winning a cup, I'm definitely calling Jimmy Rutherford, like, as soon as he walked off that podium, and I'm like, listen, what's it going to take to get Quinn now? What's it going to take? And I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would be willing to pay quite a price to have 2 years of Quinn Hughes. Now I'm going to start getting into the comments in a minute. So back to it's enough of the Quinn talk. I had to just talk about that for a couple minutes because that was major headline news today. But back to the topic at hand here. Our New Jersey Devils went out on Easter Sunday in Game 1 in Raleigh and got absolutely just smacked down. Some interesting comments in here from earlier. All right, what time is it? 8:50. Oh, wow, I got to scroll up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to miss a lot of these. I'm trying to skim them, but you guys are very chatty. Devils down 1-0 in a series got you guys real chatty. It's 8:50. Husky on Chain says, I'm all for trading the Hughes bros to Vancouver. But they have nothing of substance to offer that would even help us. That's the reality. They have literally nothing I would want. Nothing at all. Yeah. What do they have? Tell me. What would you even want from them? They got nothing. There's plenty of other teams. Like if somehow this was like the Sabres, you're like, okay, now we could, now we could play this exercise out and get crazy with it. The Canucks, you're like, what are you going to give us? Your first round pick for the next 20 years? Like, what's going to get you excited? John njdevils, Brady or Quinn, Ace? Oh, come on, John. You know my answer. I think Quinn's a great player, but I am with Ritter Engine. I am taking Brady all day, every day. Traveling Devil, that interview pretty much ends the argument. The bros will be playing together either here or in Vancouver. It seems that way, and it won't be Vancouver. There's zero chance that all three of them want to live in Vancouver. American boys playing in Vancouver? Nah. New Jersey's a way better NHL city for their kind of lifestyle, I believe. Off them Devils. Good evening, brothers. Let's go Devils. Let's booze tonight. Cheers to that. Traveling Devil, I don't see Jack and Luke leaving here now. It's ridiculous. Quinn is coming to New Jersey in 2 years. Reggie says, can't wait to see the tampering fine Rutherford gets slapped with. I'm curious to see if it happens. I'm very curious to see if it happens. I'm not so sure that it will. Oh, I guess I'm kind of caught up in time now. Something respectable. I'm curious as well. For some reason, I feel like he's not going to get hit with anything, but you certainly could make the argument that that was in fact tampering with his little kind of speech there at the end of the presser. NJ Fanatic, in my opinion, Jack isn't going anywhere. He's a franchise player. He will retire a Devil. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, guys play a long time now. A lot of, careers are long. A lot of things could happen. I would like to see it happen, but, even if you look back at the course, the history of the Devils, not many guys were lifelong Devils, that had long kind of illustrious careers. Not even the great Martin Brodeur. Hurts my heart to this day. Ritter Engine, Fitz is overdue to get... John, I don't think Luke or Jack want to leave Jersey. I mean, we got one of the best beaches on the East Coast, in my opinion. I'm sure I wouldn't be shocked if they've never been to a New Jersey beach, if I'm being honest. I don't think the beach is what keeps them here. I think it's just more of a kind of mix of urban, suburb, and they could go to New York City and Hoboken and Jersey City. I'm sure Vancouver has some sort of things like that too, but come on. They're American boys. You want to be near New York City, or do you want to be in Vancouver? Rob says Casey Nemitz and future first rounder for Quinn right now. See, I wouldn't even pay that, Rob. I would wait the 2 years. That definitely hurts the team right now. That's 3 decent pieces. I understand there is a value to having Quinn, obviously, in this world where cap, wasn't an issue at the moment. There is certain value in having Quinn for two seasons earlier, but on the flip side, I don't know. Maybe that just seems like a lot when you could get him for free, in my opinion, in 2 years. Just wait the 2 years. But I am the ultimate win now guy. So, there's the future isn't promised. There's a lot of question marks surrounding this team in the somewhat short-term years. And, if you get Quinn tomorrow, great. But I still think that's, the reality is whatever I would say I'd be willing to pay to have him for the 2 years, teams would offer way more than that. And at that point, I would say it'd be totally psychotic for the Devils to do it, knowing that he's going to come here in 2 years for free. But I get why another team would do it. I just wouldn't be able to do it as the Devils because he's coming here. The other teams don't have that luxury. So it's now or never. Do you want to pony up for 2 years of Quinn Hughes? And I think a lot of teams would. Ritter Engine says that's too much. I mean, I think he's definitely worth that. I think he's worth more than that, if I'm being honest. But again, the reason why I can't do it is because he's going to come here for free in 2 years. Oh, John said he said one of them. So, okay. Jeff, the other scenario I could see over the course of their careers are the Michigan Bros wanting to play and end their careers together in Detroit. I can't see it happening anywhere, but it would take a lot of things for that to ever work out in another place other than the Devils because of the fact that we have 2 of the 3 of them. Jack is here for a while. Luke is probably about to get extended long-term. So I just can't see it happening anywhere else other than New Jersey. Like if they want that to happen, it's got to happen in New Jersey. Huskin Shane says Team Devils, not the Team Hughes. Nicole would be cool. Quinn is a great player. I think we could use some other types of players, a.k.a. heavier, more violent. Yeah, listen, I would love like a big, nasty power forward. But, I'll be happy if we get Quinn. Don't get me wrong. But I just feel like at the moment there's other pressing needs for the team. But, a lot could change between now and then anyway. Get me a big, nasty forward. Alex says if Fitz or whoever can't land that. Oh, no, I'm pretty confident that even the worst general manager in the history of sports could make this one happen. You have every advantage in the world. Steven, if we do trade for Quinn, it'll be because the Canucks 100% know he will be gone and will be begging us for any scrap because we hold all the leverage. Yeah, but that's why he should trade him elsewhere now because he'll get 2 years of value from another team, which will still be a ton. If I'm the Devils, I'm just like, let him go somewhere else in between. He's coming to us in 2 years anyway. I don't care where he plays between now and then. It's going to be a very interesting situation to see how Vancouver really deals with that because you don't see things like this a whole lot. Like a guy wanting to play with his 2 other brothers. Like it's a very, very unfortunate situation for Vancouver because there's nothing they could do about it. And it's very fortunate for the Devils. What's going on, Natural Canopy? Steven, because they know they can't just let him walk for nothing. Yeah, you got to cash him in. You got to cash them in. If you don't, and you don't win a Stanley Cup, then it was a massive fail. Now, if they refused and just held on to him for the 2 years and they won a cup somewhere in one of those 2 seasons, then it's a massive win. But that's very unlikely. Traveling Devils says, watch the Devils trade for him. I would be furious. If the Devils trade for him, I will be pissed. I don't think it's going to happen. James says, I'm all for trading Nemitz for Hughes. It would take way more than Nemitz, James. Way more. Yeah, they grew up in Toronto, though. They're still American kids, though, and I think they spend their summers in Michigan. Shoot says, my bad, I'm late to therapy. Welcome. We've been talking a lot about Luke Hughes so far. John, I feel like Jimmy just fueled a fire that shouldn't have been started. I mean, listen, it's information for the Devils. Nothing earth-shattering outside of the confirmation. Like I said, it was pretty much what was expected by most, I believe. But to hear him kind of say it out loud is a whole nother thing. Now it's like, okay, well, that's it. I mean, it's not the likely scenario. It's the scenario that he actually confirmed he wants. So seems like the countdown is on, guys. Like I said, 26 months, 2 years and 2 months, 26 months away from Quinn Hughes joining his brothers with the New Jersey Devils. Traveling Devils says Nemitz needs to be packaged for a big forward. I think that ship sailed. I mean, maybe not. You never know, but I feel like if it was going to happen, it would have either happened at this year's deadline or in this offseason. I definitely think Nemitz's value is definitely down a little bit from what it would have been at some point last year. Now, I still think he has way more value than most people would think. People are like, Nemitz is trash. We'll get a third rounder for him. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. I still think as a very young, promising right-handed D-man, he still would command a nice price on the market, but I just don't think it's what it is. I'm curious to see if the Devils explore that road this summer. I don't really know what to think with him anymore. It's kind of the toss-up, in my opinion. But I think he could be a good defenseman for the Devils one day, even potentially next year. Just for whatever reason this year, he hasn't been able to put it together. SJ, game one is what I expected. I hate the Canes so much. I did not expect to get destroyed like that. I mean, I obviously realized it was a possibility, but to see it actually play out that way is like, fuck. It kind of not necessarily redeems the idiots that picked against the Devils and said we were terrible, but it validates them to some extent. But it's only one game. But, the reality is we might see more games like that. I really hope not. Jacob Markstrom, shout out to Jacob Markstrom, man. He really stood in there, kept us in there. We could have got blown out, but a loss like that, it's just more fuel for the idiots. And it is what it is. I mean, the Devils did it to themselves, right? Having a terrible 2025, just not showing up for game one. The people are chirping big time, whether it's Canes fans or just people that picked against the Devils. It's kind of annoying to have to read and listen to, but they got to come out there in game two and punch them back in the mouth, because they certainly took one in game one. Jeff calls it soft tampering. SJ says, oh, yeah, heard about Quinn. Crazy for Canuck management to say that. Yeah, I think he just, I don't know. It was very interesting. I was a bit surprised at the level that he took it. And like I said, the best part about it is after it, he's like, he tries to make a tampering joke as if that's going to like make it all okay. It's like, no, dude, you just joked about tampering after you actually did tampering. But like I said, I don't care that much because it's not going to have a bearing on the situation. Now, in a different scenario, something like that really could maybe sway a player or to, to request the trade to a team or a specific team. It's just kind of crazy. You don't see GM say that sort of stuff. But it's not too often you have a superstar NHL player with two brothers on the same different team than the one you play on. But he should get at least a little slap on the hand. Devil Heaven 77, time is everything on this deal. Please keep the pipeline, as I said, full. If you're talking about Quinn, keep the pipeline full by not trading for him and just waiting 2 years. Michael Shane says, I'm going to get a Jimmy Rutherford Devils jersey. Nice. Natural Candy says, Ace, imagine Line as a Devil. I believe, I don't know if it was on a live or a video, and I guess it was last summer. I said I would probably gamble on him. He seemed like a guy worth a gamble on. A big scoring winger. I thought he would have been nice for Jack. That would have been a nice little prize to bring home for Jackie boy. How did Line finish on the season? Yeah, it was definitely down a little bit. He was hurt. But yeah, big scoring winger. Yeah, he finished 20 goals, 13 assists, 33 points in 52 games. He's 6'4". I always thought he was a guy we should take a gamble on. Husky says in 2 years we'd be paying Quinn $15 million. F that. I would have no interest in paying that. Again, this is their dream to all play together. So if they want that dream to come to fruition, it starts with Luke signing a somewhat team-friendly deal in the next few months. Now, I did predict in a live and have talked about it multiple times since, because other people were telling me I was crazy. I predicted months ago that Luke's long-term extension would be somewhere in the ballpark of $7 to $8 million a year. Now, I do think his market value, especially after Dougie missed a lot of time, he kind of stepped up a little bit and probably increased his value somewhat. I do believe his market value for this type of scenario here as an RFA would be higher than the $7 to $8 million, but I'm hoping he signs somewhere in that ballpark on a team, what would be considered a team-friendly deal, to give us more cap flexibility for when Quinn becomes a free agent, him knowing full well that that's the plan. And so I'm curious to see what Luke actually signs for. I'm sticking with my $7 to $8 million, but I won't be surprised if it's a little bit more. But if he was a real team guy, he would sign somewhere in that $7 to $8 million. Maria D, this all came up during the JT Miller stuff too. Read somewhere Rutherford basically said if Quinn wanted to leave, you wouldn't stop him. Jimmy Rutherford, the very just the open book. I like it. Plus, Quinn getting dealt to NJ this summer. Rutherford has a history of preparing the media fans of changes coming. To say publicly Quinn wants to play with his brothers also sends a signal. Well, I said that. I think he's preparing them for life without Quinn, but I will be furious if the Devils trade for him this summer. That'd be crazy. Stanley says it was definitely tampering. I'm very curious. Dire Straits says NHL must investigate. SJ, only thing is that would be a lot of cap on 3 players. Again, got to sign team friendly. If you want your childhood dreams to come true, you got to give the New Jersey Devils a discount. Natural Canopy Ace, you going Friday? You, me, and often Devils need to shotgun. Email me. Natural Canopy, email me. I thought about this yesterday. Oh, man. Michael Shane, do we see Casey tomorrow for game 2? Need his offense. Just keep the head up and avoid getting steamrolled. I don't think so. Because I think who are you taking out for him? I think Dylan's going to play. So, and I don't think Luke's going to be back. So it's not like we had to fill an injured spot. It's going to be a case of you pulling someone out for them or for him. You think we should keep Sheldon as coach for foreseeable future? Yeah, I'm going to say he has overachieved with this group. A lot of people are shitting on Keefe, and I think it's kind of crazy, if I'm being honest. He's had several AHL players on his roster for the entire season. I mean, upper management essentially punted on the season, and Keefe and the team was like, "F off." And they clawed just enough to get into the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, he's had several AHL players on his roster from very early on in the season and still does to this day in the Stanley Cup playoffs, guys. There is AHL players on the Stanley Cup lineup. You have to be realistic. I'm not blaming Keefe for anything. There's only one party or area to divert your blame to, and that is the people in charge of giving Keefe that roster. That's who's responsible, not Keefe. Natural Canopy says the Jersey coastline is unmatched. I don't know enough about geography to say that. I'm sure there's some places that would certainly rival or best it. Luke, if Boozeface botches the Luke Hughes contract, I think it might be time to get the pitchforks and torches out. I think it's pretty botch proof. I think it'll happen for sure. I get bricked a lot of DJs. Oh man, I've had some stories at DJs in my youth. That happy hour, you go in there and it's 1:00 in the afternoon, sunny day outside. Then you go in there and it becomes dungeon club scenario. And then you go in there and drink your face off, drink those Long Island iced teas for a few hours. Then you come out, it's like 5 p.m. and you come out into the sunlight. Oh my God. I'm getting PTSD thinking about it. Paul Pass. If Quinn wants out, Vancouver has no leverage. Look at the Miller deal. No, they have no leverage outside of multiple teams wanting his services. Like if Jimmy Rutherford sent out the alarm to the GM community tomorrow that Quinn Hughes was on the block, you best believe there's going to be at least, I would imagine, no less than 6 to 8 teams, I would say, that would come with some serious heavy hitter offers, even if it's only for 2 years of his services before he inevitably goes to the New Jersey Devils in free agency. I believe they would get some serious packages offered to them for Luke Hughes. Luke, these Canuck loons are talking Nico first, Mercer, Nemitz, Casey for Hughes. That is laughable. He could come here in 2 years for free. Nico first, Mercer, Nemitz, Casey. Yeah, that's hilarious. I would say I'm giving you none of that. You could have him for 2 more years, and that'll be it. You get nothing. That is an insane package that I promise you will never happen. Nico a first, Mercer, Nemitz, Casey. Oh my God. Why not throw in Salayev and Yegorov too on top of it? Give them all that in those two. Maria says DJ's rocks. Devil having 77. No way. Don't give away the future. If we trade for him, I'm going to be furious. Now I'm like fearful that Fitz will actually do something crazy like that. I can't see it. I can't see it. 2 years, we get him for nothing. Army, trade a second for him at the deadline in 2 years. Oh, Army, you're crazy. At the deadline in the last year of his deal for just a pure playoff rental, I promise you he goes for way more than a second. Every contending team will be bending over backwards trying to get him for that playoff run. Stanley says, I think Chalowski draws in tomorrow. Dylan won't be seen until next season. That's what I thought when the play happened. He looked pretty bad, and I thought he was definitely done for for the playoffs. I hope that's not the case, but then who knows? It's the playoffs, and so there's a lot of misinformation. But they said something along the lines of he tried to go back in the game, but the training staff stopped them. So I don't know. To me, that was like if he's even close enough to try that, then I would think that he's good to go for game 2. But who knows? It could be gamesmanship, and he could be done. That would be awful. That would be completely awful if we're without Dylan. Natural Kennedy says, the Devils beat the Canes and buying everyone in this live 2 rounds of Grails. What the hell is 2 rounds of Grails? Khalil says, do the Devils have a chance at this point? Of course they have a chance, Khalil, and it all starts with winning tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, we have us a series. But if they lose tomorrow, again, they'll still have a chance, but the chance is very slim at that point. Having to win 4 of the next 5 games with 2 of them in Raleigh doesn't give me a good feeling whatsoever. They go down 2-0. I think you could start digging the grave. NJ Fanatic, let me rephrase that. Jack may get traded, but it'll be near the end of his career like Brodeur. Brodeur was at the end of his career when he was moved to St. Louis. Someone just texted me something. Well, he just signed with them. He wasn't traded there. He signed there after his contract was up with the Devils. He played that last game against Boston at home. What a moment when everyone kind of knew it was the end of the great Martin Brodeur in the red and black. A bittersweet day, which gave us the salute statue outside. A moment in time, the great Martin Brodeur wears the red and black of the New Jersey Devils for the last time. Watch the Rags get him for 2 years. That'd be pretty funny. I'd imagine it'd be a team much closer. It would be a team that will, for it to make any sense, it would have to be a team that believes, again, if they could grab a guy like Quinn Hughes, that gives them a legitimate chance to win a cup. And so I'd imagine it would be a higher end level contender that would want to bring him in to try to really win a cup in the next 2 years. Brian J says, can't wait to have all the injury-prone Hughes brothers. How's Quinn's shoulders? I think they're pretty decent from what I'm told. Devil having packaged a few more Utica players, open up the path for skill. I don't know. I don't think we have many Utica players with value anyway, but what package them for what? Selected boy, what's going on? What's up, Devils folks? And Ace. Natural Canopy, Jim screwed himself and shot himself in the foot. I think, who knows? I'd be curious to know how much that was kind of already known in in hockey circles. I'm sure it's no secret. And I'm sure Jimmy Rutherford has probably put out some very, very preliminary feelers as to what teams may be interested in obtaining Quinn and for what sort of price, because this situation didn't really just evolve today. This has been kind of looming, I would imagine, for most of the season. Watch him get fired tomorrow. I don't think so. So Justin says, are we getting Quinn? I do believe today we basically got confirmation that Quinn Hughes will sign here as a free agent on July 1st, 2027. And so it's basically 26 months away until Quinn Hughes becomes a New Jersey Devil. Jim and Vince are face down at Harris right now. Michael, I've been face down at Harris before. I think we all have at some point, right? Who hasn't been face down at Harris? Myself, maybe more times than I'd like to admit. But, oh, Harris. Select the boy. Well, the boys got to shape up for game 2. Shape up would be an understatement. Game 2 is just everything. I hope they really show up, because game 1 was an absolute stinker. We got punched in the mouth. I was very happy with the first couple shifts. Bodies were flying. They get that early goal, and that was it. Devils have to do the same thing to them. Get an early goal and take the crowd out of it. It's a totally different game if the Devils could score first. It really is. And Marky's going to have to be big again. Sherry, what's the status on Glass? Any intel? Absolutely not. This is the playoffs. You're going to get information, misinformation. I'd imagine we might not find out if Glass is playing till either sometime later tomorrow afternoon or possibly when the game starts. I forget. I think they have to submit. Yeah, probably shortly before the game. Amanda will probably put something out. But I could also see him taking warm-ups too and being in practice, even if he's not going to. There's a lot of gamesmanship in the playoffs. A lot of people, coaches try to keep things hush-hush and keep the other coach guessing. So, I don't know. We'll find out late tomorrow, I'd imagine. Hopefully he's fine, but Marky really chopped him good. Michael, I walked through AC from Tropicana to Borgata in February. I looked insane. I also can't believe I made it alive. Dude, you walked from Tropicana to Borgata? That's a pretty decent walk. I mean, I could do that walk, but I never would just because of where it is. Did you walk through the tunnel and stuff, or did you walk a different way? I can't even fathom doing that. Devil Heaven, Devils fans, throw this in the trash. Tomorrow is game 2. Yeah. Let's see. Is the offense going to show up? Is the team going to show up? I know Marky's going to show up. Is the team in front of him going to show up? What a chop by Marky, right? That was crazy. Select a boy. If this is going to be a first-round exit, then Fitzgerald should be fired. I mean, my thoughts on this kind of topic are well, I think, known at this point. I do believe that there is close to no chance he is fired this offseason. And I kind of felt that way even if we missed the playoffs. I think it would have been the same. So I do think you see him at a minimum for next season. I just can't see. I can't see there being a change like that. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think I will be. I think he's pretty safe. SJ, agree. Ace Markey was incredible early. The Devils made too many mistakes and dumb penalties. Yeah, too many men. And I'm pretty sure when we got the too many men, we were on the power play. Yeah, we were on the power play when we got the too many men. So it ended a power play and then gave. I think it was the power play was almost over. So I think it resulted in a minute 40 or so of Hurricane power play time. But yeah, too many men and a delay of game. I mean, my God. How much worse does it get? I mean, those are two of the penalties you're like, those just cannot happen in the playoffs. And we get one of each on the road in a very tough building to play in. Super unfortunate. Gotta have their shit together for tomorrow, because I think we would have lost yesterday's game regardless. But that could be the difference between winning and losing in a tighter game. The Devils got pretty handled, so I'm not going to say that was the difference. But it was a factor for sure, but I'm not going to say it would have made a huge difference. In a future game, that could be the difference. That could be you won the game or you lost the game because of that. So hopefully a little better with the attention to detail tomorrow. And again, scoring the first goal. Brian J., can we talk about how bad the Devils are right now? They are consistently bad since January. Yeah, I mean, listen, overall they have been. The failure to win 4 games in a row, win 1, lose 2, win 3, lose. I mean, it's just the definition of what I would say is a mediocre hockey club. The only thing I could cling on to is that we could somehow consistently look like the better versions of that team that we've seen in little spurts sprinkled in there. And that's part of what gets me optimistic or keeps me optimistic for game 2, right? Is that the Devils are consistently inconsistent. And so there is multiple versions of the team. And I'm hoping that the inconsistency continues, meaning we don't see the crap team we saw in game 1. We now see, because of inconsistency, a better version in the next game. And it might sound crazy, but I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's why I do have some hope, is because you never know what team you're going to get. We got the bad one in game 1. Now I'm hoping we get a good version of the team in game 2. Bright Boys Productions, how do you think the Devils can get back in the series for game 2? They're going to probably have to win a 2-1 game, maybe a 3-2. Capitalize on the power play and stay out of the box. Get at least one power play goal tomorrow and stay out of the box. Protect Markey. Shut it down. Natural Canopy says, Luke, 8 times 9. I could see that. NJ Fanatic, I can't stand the Rags ever since Matteau scored the OT goal to knock our Devils out of the 94 playoffs, but the Canes have been a brooding hatred now for years and is very, very close second. I said this a while back. Yeah, I mean, they've won their last 4 playoff matchups against us. We're now 1-4 all time against them in playoff series, and we haven't beat them in the playoffs since 2001. They got us in 2002 and every series thereafter. 2006. That very painful 2009 team. Oh, my God. Brian J., is it really one game, Ace? It's been like this since the New Year's for the most part. Yeah, but they went on multiple 3-game winning streaks, and you saw good versions of the team. The problem is the bad version of the team showed up the same amount of times or a couple more maybe than we saw the good team. But you saw little pockets of the good team throughout. You saw it in the games against Columbus that mattered a lot in March. Home and home. They weren't back-to-back, but it was like a week apart. 2 games in Columbus, we came up with 2 wins. The home and home doubleheader with the Minnesota Wild, where the Devils came up with wins. So they did show, shutting out the Rangers twice at home. I mean, in big games, they did show up. It's just that there was too many games where they didn't show up or melted down. I'm hoping we see a good version of the team tomorrow. Often Devil says, who let the rag guy in? There's always a couple of them in here. Damian Ace, I'd love to go on a rant, but I have only so much letters to type. Maybe live in. The Devils will not trade the Hughes brothers. Money being made by them through fame, and we have to stay positive. I think that the young, popular guys sell jerseys and tickets, and I do think, being good players as well, on top of that, makes him a kind of marketing dream for the Devils. James, almost every game 1 has been a blowout. Canes have like a decade of playoff experience as a team. It's annoying, and that's why I hate them. It's like, I think I was watching something the other day. I think like rodbrindamour's Canes teams have only lost, I forget what the number is, but they've only, out of all the times they've won a game 1 of a series, I think they've only lost 1 time. And it may have been last year to the Rangers, I forget. But it's like, if they win game 1 of the series under Rod, they win the series. Crazy stuff. The New York Nobody, I'm here pretty often. If you are a true fan of Ace's show, you'd have seen me around before. Oh, boy. Damien, I'm getting annoyed at these negative fans bringing in their negativity, not referring to the logical ones like you, just the unreasonable ones. We need to stay positive. We are down, not out. Let's go, Devils. Traveling Devil. Quinn wants to get here before Jack's career comes to an end from those shoulder injuries. Oh, boy. Hopefully that never happens. I mean, that it comes to an end. I mean, obviously it's going to come to an end naturally at some point, but to have a career-ending injury would be pretty terrible. Obviously, it's in the back of my mind a little bit. I hope it doesn't happen, but, I think it's a kind of fair concern traveling. But I think Quinn's willing to be patient and wait out the 2 years till he could sign here. Bright Boys Productions, how do you get a question on the screen? The question goes on the screen if I pick it. I just kind of skim through here. I try to get to as many as I can, but it's physically impossible to do all of them, and so I kind of just skip around. But the question gets on the screen by me selecting it in my special little program here made possible by the power of technology in 2025. Bright boys. I lost my spot again now. You son of a... Selected Boy says, I hate this NHL playoff scheduling, to be honest. What about it? SJ, I don't know. Devils look outmatched. They tried, but the Canes are so battle-tested and they're also healthy. Yeah, the reality is, at some point, you have to be realistic and say, we are fairly outmanned. It is what it is, but they got to try and make it a series. The best team on paper doesn't win 100% of the time, obviously. So, they may have the better team on paper and the experience and all of these other advantages, but I'll say the Devils have some advantages as well. And the biggest one is in net, Jacob Markstrom. We didn't even test Freddie Anderson. He had a very, very kind of easy night, I would say. James Roman, almost every game one has been a blowout. We lack experience. So let's see what happens tomorrow night, but I'm ready to be heard again. Canes have had like a decade of experience not winning the cup. Yeah, battle-tested group. Ryder64 says, I'm not really sure why Rangers fans keep coming in here. There's golf to play, boys. We may be joining you soon, but go warm the cart, see some ladies beat it. No, the New York nobody's a good. He's a fine guy. There's a couple of okay Rangers fans out there. Devil Heaven 77. Keefe has been through this love. Love to see Keefe as the next John Cooper. You got to have some rings before I even remotely consider that one. James, Devils have to score first goal tomorrow. It's going to be an avalanche of pain. I do think first goal is huge. I do think, it doesn't necessarily mean the end if they give up the first one, but, you'd like to see the Devils score first. The New York nobody, I don't see the Canes as serious cup contenders. I think the cup goes back to Tampa or Colorado this year. Yeah, that's who I have in the final. I have Tampa over Colorado. Natural Canopy, leave a like for our boy Ace. Hit the thumbs up for your boy, you stingy people. This is a playoff therapy session. Hit the thumbs up. Actually, I think tomorrow's a must-win mentally more than anything for the players and us. Well, and just the sheer mathematics of having to win, 3 out of the next 5 games if it was tied 1-1 versus having to win 4 of the next 5. Very, very different. 2 Utes. 2. SJ would not surprise me if Canes win at all. They're as good as anyone. I would be surprised if they won. I would. There's just too many other teams in the East that I think are better. Stanley, Keefe absolutely gets a free pass. He's coaching a team that is going to be running Haula and Lazar down the middle during the Cup playoffs. God help us. Yeah. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. John Lopez says, I think I could see Fitz making a move on Quinn this summer. He has to make a splash to re-engage a fan base and sell tickets. I don't think they'd have the cap space to do it. It would take a lot. I'll be mad if it happens. It'd be a waste of assets, in my opinion. Bright Boys Productions, if the Devils win the series, it'll be because of one guy, Jacob Markstrom, baby. 100%. 100%. I said from the beginning of the series, he was basically my X factor to the series. We will go as far as Marky could take us. And, the unfortunate part is the offense did nothing. Like, Marky would have legit had to have pitched a shutout yesterday for us to win. We would have had to win a 1-0 game. Like, can they score 2 or 3 goals? Let Marky have a 1 or 2 goal against game and still get the win? I mean, it's crazy now. SJ says Marky is great, but he can't score goals, sadly, for sure. Devil Heaven 77, what is the status on our injuries? This is the playoffs, guys. If you thought our injury reporting was vague during the regular season, you ain't seen nothing yet. Playoff injuries reports, forget they exist. You now live in a world of, we'll basically find out right before the game what the deal is. And even then, you're just going to find out if they're playing or not. You're not going to get any sort of real details or when they may be back. This is the ultimate chess match now taking place off the ice between coaching staffs. Stanley, Canes aren't winning shit. They'll smoke out the Devils and proceed to get wrecked by a competent opponent. There's years of evidence to support this. We're going to find out. Ryan Demand, Glass and Dillon are game time decisions tomorrow, I think. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Mike K, Brodeur definitely should be considered an all-time Blues player. Oh, yeah, for sure. For all, like, what did he play, like 8 games for them or something crazy like that? Natural Canopy wants to know, Mike K, did you find a woman yet? I totally forgot about the dating escapades of Mike K. Devil having no panic, boys. Even if down 2-0, we took Rags, a better team across the Hudson. That doesn't make me feel any better. That 2022-23 team was a different animal. They had a 13-game heater. This group couldn't win 4 in a row on multiple attempts against bad teams in some of the cases. That 22-23 team, 13-game heater. I explain this. Are you listening to what I'm saying, Bright Boys? People get put on the screen by me picking it. Mike K. Marner, a goal and an assist in game 1, poised to have a huge playoffs, waiting for Ace to change his mind. Really, Mike? After one game? You don't know me at all, Mike. Come back to me after the series. A goal and an assist in one game? Come on, man. You're bought so easily. Off them Devils. Drop a like for our boy. Make it 1-1 going into Friday. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the super. Off them Devils. They need to win. 1-1 going back to the Rock. I mean, that's realistically all you're looking for. If realistically is the split. Obviously, I would love to go into, you'd love to go into Raleigh, win both games, and come home up 2-0. But let's be real. Best case scenario really is the split. And the split is still there on the table. It would have been nicer to win it in game 1 and kind of be playing with house money in game 2. But that's not how it played out. And so now the New Jersey Devils have to find a way to dig deep and gut out this game 2 victory to come home all tied up at 1 for game 3 at the Rock. It'd be phenomenal. Mike K says, still looking, had coffee with a hot Chinese investment banker today. Nice. Are you in the financial world, Mike? Are you one of these finance guys? Yeah, I think you are. Natural Kennedy says, all 3 Hughes brothers, Bratt and Meier on power play 1. How filthy would that be, huh? Select the boy. It seems all but confirmed that Quinn, barring some catastrophe, and I don't even know what it could be, really, at this point, it seems like a foregone conclusion that Luke Hughes will be, and Quinn Hughes will be a New Jersey Devil in 26 months. James says, oh, yeah, I've been face down at Harris. Yeah, everyone has. I would say, I would think Glass would play. Was like chop that bad? I wonder what actually happened. If Glass doesn't play, I'll judge him a little bit. I mean, how hurt can he be from that? Khalil, will Nico give up the C for Quinn? Absolutely not. No. That would never happen. Nico's team for as long as he's here, which hopefully is long term, but I have my doubts about that as well. NJ Fanatic, listening to Keith in post-game interview, I don't feel he thinks he needs to change anything and is basically happy the way they played. That's just part, I get it. It's not for everybody. It took me time to get used to it too. Like, I would like to see more animation and fire out of him, and we really didn't see it all season, except for the one time when he made that quote about Kovacevic, and it ended up being the biggest news story the next day. But I'm sure they're evaluating everything, whether that's, lineup decisions or whatever. But in the end, the coach can only do so much. The players got to go out there and execute. Learn and sing along kids songs. With a few exceptions, many of Fitzy's trades have been bad. I'm curious which ones you're referring to. Dire Straits, Keefe seems miserable here. Hard to get a read on him. I don't think he's miserable. I think he's probably just kind of fed up like the fans are. But, he's the head coach of an NHL team. He's living the dream right now. Off them. Just secured tickets for Friday night. Very nice. Very nice. Devil Heaven 77, 47 shots on goal by Kane's not the answer. No, it's definitely not the answer. I totally agree. That's an awful amount of shots against. And going to be hard to win games that way. But the thing is, like, we did get smacked, but, like, the offense was just so bad. Like, if they showed anything, we were still in the game for so long, but it's just unfortunate. Luke says, better interview Boozeface or Biden? Oh, I'm going to go Boozeface. Boozeface. Oh, like, Keefe seems a little too relaxed, content in his interview after the loss. Yeah, I said that earlier in the year. I don't think you're going to get much out of him on most nights, really. I'm sure he realizes it was a shit game. Like, I mean, we lost 4-1. How good can you really feel about that? The games matter now. These aren't these meaningless games anymore that you're going to tell us, we're trying to avoid injury and stuff. Like, there's no more of that. It's time to win. Luke, I hate the Canes. They're still nowhere near my hatred of the Rags. Philly is higher also. Them and Pittsburgh close for third on my hates list. Philly was high on my list, but then, like, we didn't really play them ever again in the playoffs. Like, we played them both in 95 and 2000. Some great series. And then outside of, what was that, 04, I think? They beat us that time. And then I don't think we played them again until, was it in the 2012 Cup run? There may have been one in between there. I'm forgetting. But the Devils have done very well historically against the Flyers. So it's not like, the proximity brings it to a more of a geographical rivalry. But, when a team beats you 4 straight times in the playoffs, like the Canes have beat the Devils, I've been hating them ever since the first series loss, if I'm being honest. Brian, we were playing good earlier this year. We didn't have Dowling, Sprong, Glass, Dumoulin playing. We were healthy. We are far cry from the team with Jack, Siegenthaler, Dougie. Yeah, but I can't use Jack and Siegenthaler as like a reason for just to be like, oh, that's to give up on the team now. I mean, obviously they're big losses, but you got to find a way to win still. The Wild aren't that good, Ace. I mean, they're in the playoffs. What the hell? What more? What does that have to be, a top 5 team in the league? Jeez. Brian, you're nuts, dude. To beat a playoff team on a home and home. Yeah. Off them Devils. Wild are a playoff team. Exactly. I mean, I'm not saying they're the best team in the league, but again, the Rangers weren't a playoff team, and I'm still going to count shutting them out twice on home ice. That's a rivalry game, a big game. That means something. Even though the Rangers didn't make the playoffs, you're beating your biggest rival in shutouts at home. That's a big deal too. Oh, Ryan, you're super late. We did see what the GM of the Canucks said. Jim Rutherford is the gift that keeps on giving, and it seems like the countdown is on. July 1, 2027, Quinn Hughes should be a New Jersey Devil. Stanley 62495. I felt for the longest that Keefe had his bags half packed. NHL coach is highly coveted, so you don't pass the opportunity, but he seems totally over this experience, in my honest opinion. Interesting. I don't know why you guys are kind of getting that vibe. You could be right. I just, didn't think that necessarily, but I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting take, I think. Trevor, I'm late to my therapy session. This team has no heart right now. We need an emotional leader to shock the shit out of this team. Yeah. Who's going to do it? Or they just go out there and play better. Either way. Allen, unbelievable. Ovi has a goal and 8 hits tonight. Russian machine never break. What a beast Ovechkin is. Jay Snow, watching Spit and Chickles today, they were talking about how can Jack ever put on size when he's rehabbing every offseason. It's true. Hasn't played a full season yet, and he's constantly, sidelined for the summer, healing from something. Hopefully one of these off seasons he gets there healthy and is able to get a little jacked up. I'm not a fan of the 6 p.m. start. Yeah, I'd imagine a lot of people won't be. I'd imagine a lot of people won't be. I've actually forgot about that till right now. I would have remembered tomorrow. Hold on one second. I'm getting myself in trouble with these youths. You natural canopy. You derelict. I'm going to get myself in trouble with these young bucks out there in the streets of Newark. Oh, man. Devil Heaven, difficult, not impossible. Oh, man. Bauman, the OG. Luke, the Canes are battle-tested healthy, and their GM made moves to win, not to save cap space, money for HBSE. We've talked about this. I'm not going to keep beating it to death, but, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, listen, back-to-back years with mountains and mountains of LTIR money, and we didn't spend it. I mean, come on now. Craig says, what line changes do you expect for tomorrow? I have no idea what to expect anymore. I really don't. Let me see. Did Amanda put... I wouldn't be shocked if we go into the game with the same lines and then Keefe shuffles them much sooner. Like, yeah, I don't know what there really is. Our lineup has a ton of holes and we have the injuries, so it's really hard. At this point, maybe you do want to just overload and say, try to stop us. Yeah, it's rough. The offense has to wake up. Devil Heaven says, I used to have those glasses, Ace. I think I threw them off the cruise ship. Nice. Khalil, when Mercer getting 100 goals career, he has 83 career goals now. He'll hit 100 next season for sure. Matt, do you think with all our defensive prospects, we could end up trading Hamilton at some point? Yeah, I don't think he finishes out his contract here if I had to guess. He might, but I would say no. And we have a lot of, defensive guys in the pipeline. So I could totally see it, but his $9 million a year is going to make it somewhat difficult to easily trade him. And again, I'm a big Dougie guy. I've said it time and time again. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and Dougie has the puck in our O zone a lot when he's out there. He creates chances and he keeps the puck out of our own end. You saw last season what happened when Dougie went down. The team just kind of went free falling without Dougie. And I think he's a big member of this team right now. And until someone is able to kind of carry that torch, and I think Luke will be that guy soon. Luke is still very young in this league and continually improving as his career goes on. But I do think in a couple years from now, Luke will be able to kind of, carry that torch from Dougie. But if and when we trade Dougie, you heard it here. His presence will be missed in a variety of ways. Natural Canopy, it doesn't matter about game 1, boys. Game 2 tomorrow. Let's get the split and have the Prudential Center off its ass. Man, I certainly hope so. I certainly hope we come home tied up. It would make shotgunning so much better. Jace, no, the problem with Fitz is he built a fast team, not a lot of size. Now he wanted to be more gritty, and now we're not a fast enough team or a heavy enough team. I'm not even going to necessarily buy into that narrative, I don't think. Like, who did we really lose that all of a sudden people have tried this narrative like they were a super speedy team, and now they're this slow and sluggish team? Like, who really left that all of a sudden we're this slow team? I'm not buying into it. I just think in the end, we were desperately in need of a top 6 winger to play with Jack that we never got. And a lot of our bottom 6 guys straight up fell off a cliff that no one saw coming. Like, everyone did worse than the year before. And so when you mix those two things together, lack of a real top 6, we had a real top 4, and then you just kind of have, fill-in players for the top 6. And then when your bottom 6 was somewhat questionable to begin with, and then they all just take a nosedive, that's a combination for disaster, and you saw it. The offense struggled big time for large chunks of the season. Traveling Devil says there's going to be a Hughes Brothers bobblehead night. Oh, boy, I'd imagine. Nicole, with hockey, any game can be anyone's game. We're not out of this. Let's go Devils. I agree. All right, I'm going to get off here in a little bit because I would like to watch some of the games. Let me just do a little scoreboard peepage real quick here. Ooh, baby. We have Caps and Canadians might be going into OT. Oh, we have some good games here. We got Jets and Blues in a 1-goal game in the third. And then we have, obviously, Mackenzie Blackwood and the Avs against the Stars at 9:30 and Oilers Kings at 10. Wow. So the Ovi, Bavillier, Caulfield, Suzuki. Wow. Caps blew a 2-0 lead in the third. What are they, the New Jersey Devils? Oh, my God, and they were both in the second half of the period. What a joke. That's what I said, guys. That's why I almost picked the Canadians, but I thought it'd be crazy if both – I already had the Senators upsetting the Leafs, and I was like, are the Capitals and the Leafs going to get upset in the first round? I was tempted to pick the Canadians. I still don't think they're going to do it. But I did say I thought, goaltending and some other things, the Capitals, not nearly as good as their record may suggest. But we're going to see. Wow, that's going to go into overtime. I'm going to love to watch that. Overtime playoff hockey, nothing like it. Said Jets fans, Sunday was a nightmare. If they want a chance to win tomorrow, they need to have a good first period. We absolutely folded against their forecheck. Hopefully they've adjusted. The thing is, I don't think they're going to be, man. I don't. What's going to be different where they're going to be like, we're not going to panic and get crushed now? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's a big test. The test of the season. Obviously, game of the season. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference quarters. Jason said we have a 34-year-old AHLer playing center, my lord. Mike Hayes said, heard Rodbrindamour eats Swedish meatballs out of Markstrom's hands. Is that true? I may have heard something like that. Wait till Marner plays a physical team. Said Jets fan, hopefully Dylan is good to go tomorrow. I fear playoff hockey will be too much for Nemitz or Casey. Obviously, it's an elevated game, but I feel like the Canes probably of all teams scare me the most for those guys because their forecheck is just relentless. And then once they smell blood, I'd imagine if Nemitz or Casey were in there, they'd be teeing off on them big time. Devil Heaven, I think we played maybe 10 solid minutes of the 60. Let's go forward. NJ Fanatic, Toronto is cursed, pure and simple. They'll never win. The toxic fan base and the media won't let them. I think that core 4, there's something broken there, but who knows? You never know, right? If I will say this, if the Leafs get out of the first round, all you're going to hear is how it was a Keefe curse, and the Keefe curse has been lifted. It's going to be pretty wild. Mike K says, often Devils, yeah, but she knew I never had the makings of a varsity athlete. Hi, kudos. Will this post-game plot? I think you mean will playoff plot show up in game 2? Kept hearing about it all season. I mean, it's only been one game, guys, to be fair. A lot of you are like, I'm disappointed because of the way the game played out, and it was very discouraging, obviously. A very sad outing. It wasn't like it was a competitive game. We kind of got smashed. But the beauty is it's all out the window for game 2. Will this team figure anything out to make it a game, win the game, and make it a series. If this is going to be a series, they must win the game tomorrow. That's it. I mean, again, not a true must win, because I'm a very literal guy with the must win. Must win is reserved for when you've already lost 3 games in a playoff series, and then you really must win to stay alive. It's a gotta win. You gotta win this one, because you're not beating this Hurricanes team 4 out of 5. You'd be surprised how many people don't watch Sopranos, Mike, or have ever watched it, or people that watched it but that just can't like quote it all religiously. Ross, what's up with the Quinn Hughes news? He willing to leave Vancouver? I went off on a whole thing. We watched the beginning of this. The first while I talked about this at the start of the live. Devil Evan says we'll be raising number 17 banner in 10 years. What? Jason, the amount of high danger chances Markey had to stop was ridiculous. Yeah, Markey kept us in there. You know, there was some people talking stupid about Markstrom in comments somewhere I was reading, like, you know, he was the only reason that we weren't blown out pretty early on. Like, with some goalies, they could have been down easily 2-3-0 in that first period and maybe 4-5-0 by some point in the second. I mean, it was just a shooting gallery, and Markey was there. You know, he gave the team a chance. They just couldn't score for shit. By the time Nico buried that, it was 3-0. Nico makes it 3-1. I mean, it's already over. Late in the second period, you're not coming back on the road against this Hurricanes team, coming back from down 3-0. It's just not going to happen. They're far too good for that. And so it was another case of too little, too late. Mike Hay says Keefe never gets fired up. It's actually kind of annoying. I low-key want Torts. I wanted Tortorella forever. I don't know if he's ever going to get another job in this league at this point. It might be kind of the end for him, maybe, but I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a gig somewhere. Maybe even if it's I don't even know if he could be an assistant. Actually, he might be like a head coach guy only. I could totally see that. Always wanted Torts though, from way back in the day. Nicole, I'm surprised Keefe hasn't been made into more memes. His facial expressions are hilarious 90% of the time. Yeah, I've seen some interesting ones. Are you talking about the Flyers? No, I said the cup run. So yeah, I guess I knew there was another year in there, 2010. For the Flyers. But yeah, we've done pretty well against them. Not the same could be said of the Canes. Devil Heaven, Keefe is fine. Everyone wants miracle, calm, cool, collected. Rapid Blue is the new black. Fitzgerald draft picks are far worse than his trades. He passed on Stankoven because he was too small and went with Chase Stillman, who just got traded away for Glass. Yeah, the drafting and, you know, subsequent moves made with said draft picks have been pretty bad, obviously. Off them Devils with fun. I see your funny Soprano quotes. I'm just people aren't gonna get it. R.I.P. Paulie Walnuts. A.K.A. Tony Sirico. Mike Hay, Canes are easily the worst. They broke our hearts in 06. Goalie interference in 09. 2 late goals in Game 7. Brutal. Yeah, I said we beat them in the cup run in 12. Long history of the trash bag fans, Canes fans hate the team so much, but more history with the Flyers, maybe showing my age. Yeah, but when did the Flyers ever beat us where it was like crushing? Never. Like, yeah, that first round in 04 was it? Like, it sucked, but it didn't have the same. It sucked, but it didn't feel as bad as some of those Canes losses. Like, they beat us in some years where you thought we really had a good shot at a cup. But yeah, that 03-04 was the year after a cup win. Obviously, is not fun. Yeah, 9-10 too. Bums. Then we got him in 12 though. Donnie said that was a dirty hit on Hall with 2 seconds left. Going to be a few scraps tomorrow. I could feel it. Oh, I would love to see the gloves come off. Would love to see the gloves come off. I don't know how confident I am that it will, but I would love to see it. Lauren said, can we get Quinn in this offseason if the money is right? It would take a lot of things to happen for us to have the cap space. And if we do trade for Quinn this offseason, I'd be furious because that means we're giving up tons of assets. He could come here for free in 2 years. Poopy Tiger says 6 p.m. sucks. It should be 8 for playoffs. I do think I like it better for some things, though. There are pros and cons. Sunrise Art Cinema, 6 p.m. Great. My kids can now climb on me and prod me while I try to watch. If they go down early, it will make it even worse. Knowles has a ticket for sale. If anyone is interested for Friday, you could message him about that. Nicole, shoot, I'm in a session until 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'll take everything I have to stay focused. Oh, how did you not reschedule, Nicole? You come up with the quintessential something has suddenly came up. Something has suddenly came up, and I need to reschedule. That's it. Tony Sirico on left wing. Damon, if you want, I'm having a Devils watch party here on campus, drinks and food included. No, I appreciate that, but I'm going to have to be nearby the studio, just all tensed up on my lonesome. I will say, I don't know how I felt about watching the game with lots of other people around. They weren't in the room. There's only a couple other people in the room. There was lots of people kind of in and out at my lovely mother's house. During the holiday, during the game, it kind of threw me off my rhythm a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because I have like a very kind of regimented thing going on. Vader, do you think all 3 Hughes brothers will be on the Devils soon? Yes. I think that on July 1st, 2027, Luke Hughes will complete the trifecta and will become a New Jersey Devil after signing in free agency. It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point after what Jimmy Rutherford had to say today. I just don't see how it doesn't happen now. Let's go Devils. Weightlifting Lab Ace, how do you think they beat the forecheck next game? That's the only way I see us winning tomorrow. They're going to have to, I don't know, make some new schemes. But really, they're just going to have to think fast and act fast, but not, don't make desperation passes and things. Maybe, I don't know. It's a hard forecheck to beat, and we don't have maybe the horses that could keep up with it. I don't know. We're gonna find out. I would love to see a new team come out there tomorrow, and make it happen. Got to score first. And yeah, just got to get the puck out clean. That stupid first goal, man. Everything fell apart after we gave up that goal, and it was only 2.5 minutes in. It's terrible. Terrible. Jason says Devils are the only playoff embarrassment. It's one game. Let's see what they do in game 2. Got to hold out hope. Mike, we have a lot of these offensive defensemen. We still can't play on our own end. Hate to say it, but Luke has a lot of progress. Dude, he's still only 21, my guy, Mike. He's 21. Luke is going to be that dude. Luke is going to be very good. I have no doubt. Oh, my God. Maria, agree on Kiefer's facial expression sometimes reminds me of James Cagney. Maria, if I would wager that 98% of the people in here have no clue who James Cagney is. And I only know because of my grandmother. Let me just double check that I'm talking about. Nah, I think I had a couple drinks, but I'm pretty no James Cagney, the old school actor. Yeah. These people don't know who James Cagney is. Maria, oh my God, she's making some what? Maybe I'm wrong and people do know who he is, but I'd imagine most people don't. This is an old time actor. I brought my grandmother to some play. I think it was about his life actually, like a few years ago. Oh, I fell super far behind again in the time. All right, everyone talking about the oh my God, savagery in the comments. Asking Nicole if she's still single, and it turns out that she's still married. Would you believe that? After all of a week since the last time that it was asked. Has anyone ever hit on women on the internet like this and it actually worked out in a random setting, like outside of a dating app? I can't see this being an effective tactic. Brandon, Keefe's biggest, it certainly never worked for SST. Brandon Thomas, Keefe's biggest problem is he coaches a good system, but as a coach, he really sucks at adapting. That makes him exposed to getting out coached. Keefe's hates making changes. That was his problem in Toronto. I mean, but in the end, right? What is he going to do that he's getting so out coached? He has several deficiencies in his lineup, and so there's only so much you can do with a lineup like that. It's not like he has all these tactical maneuvers to do that would, somehow come out on top of the Hurricanes. Like, there's not a lot for him to really do here. Jason said you're in the wrong chat looking for single girls. Kind of makes sense. Maybe. Oh, man. Mike, this chat disrespects Marner so much nobody appreciates how nasty he is. He will change everyone's mind this playoffs. I agree he's a great player, but he's a child and he disappears in the playoffs. You came in here waving the pom-poms after game one. Let's see how the series goes. I don't think I'll ever be a Marner guy, and especially because of the money he's going to want. But yeah, can the lights in here are so bright too. I will still hold out hope for this team though, guys, because we have seen a good team that was capable of doing some big things throughout the season. They just need to show up tomorrow in the biggest game of the year. Avoid going down 0-2 and make this thing a series. Coming back to the Rock tied up at 1 would be, like I said, shotgunning those shotguns outside of the arena would have so much more meaning than being down 0-2. Oh, wait, let me check the clock. The game's got to be starting soon, right? Yeah, the intermissions go by quick. I want to fire up this 8 minutes. Okay, till Montreal, Washington starts back up. The Jets are trying to hold on and open up that 2-0 series lead. Avs underway. Okay. Sherry says, we need to get our together tomorrow. Otherwise, we're effed. I agree. Going down 0-2, it's a wrap. Husky callable chance 6'5", 220 fresh off NCAA tourney could help our bottom six. I don't think he's going to be playing for the organization until next season, and it seems like there's a very, very good chance he'll probably start in Utica, I'd imagine. Sopranos, best series of all time. I cannot disagree. I've been meaning to do a rewatch for a while. Rapid Blue is the new back. I've watched Sopranos all the way through 4 times. The show ended like 15 years ago. What does that mean? Jay Snow, Insane Marky was the only guy to show up. We're gonna need Marky big time tomorrow and for the rest of the series. Luke, Torch should be hired here as an assistant, a la Lou having as many quality people in the organization. I don't know if Torts would even want to be an assistant, though. He might be a my way or the highway kind of guy. I heard Rags got Torts back. That would be comical. Jay Snow, I would have rather not made the playoffs if Fitz would have been fired. He's complete cheeks. I don't think he was going to get fired anyway. So, you know, and in the end, I would still pick to make the playoffs. You want to be in the dance to have a chance. I mean, playoff berths are precious. You guys saw what happened last year, and there's no guarantees. There's no guarantee we're going to be a playoff team next year, unfortunately. Dire Straits, it's sad when you feel the team doesn't even belong in the playoffs. It's just a rotten feeling. It certainly is. I totally get where you're at with that. But I'd much rather be here than not. Mike, anyone else rooting for Pete DeBoer? He's been to the finals twice and lost in the conference finals 5 times. I can't say that I am. You know, I don't really care too much either way, but I certainly wouldn't go out of my way to root for him. Kieran, how are the Devils going to generate more shots on goal? The Canes outshot us by triple numbers. I don't know what that means, but the shots, it was like nearly double. I think it was like 47-24 or something like that, or 46-24. It was almost double. They're going to have to just make a conscious effort to throw more pucks on net and maybe not be as selective. Obviously, getting some power plays could help that as well. But, yeah, sometimes you might just want to throw the puck on net, even if it's not a great shot. Just throw it on net. Do what the Canes do. They just throw it from anywhere. They will shoot from anywhere. They want pucks on net and make your goalie work and fight for tips, rebounds, whatever it is. I want to see McDermott first shift drop someone. Like McDermott's not going to play, but I would love to. That'd be hilarious. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it's not going to happen. Nicole, I'm booked for months, Ace. Whoa, look at you. Delay the game for me. Well, good for you, Nicole. Look at you. I'm booked for months. Then I get it. Go get that money, girl. Nico should give up the C. Need a savage to take that throne. Come on, man. Anyone talking smack on Nico is like wild stuff. I mean, come on. Nico, you're going to throw shade at Nico? Craig Bailey, it'll be 10 a.m. Wednesday morning in New Zealand. Oh, my God. When Game 2 starts, let's go Devils. 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. That's crazy. Are you going to be able to watch it? Devil Heaven, my playoff regimen, absolutely. Usually cross-cut my lawn pregame, Dirty Devil vodka. Sunrise Art Cinema, I love James Cagney, hilarious. Well, you also have, cinema in the title of your name there. I'm curious how many other people know Cagney. James Cagney rocks. Public Enemy. Devlin, what are you drinking tonight? I went back to the hard stuff. The Dirty Devil. Dirty Devil. Avs looks like a cup team. Yeah, I have them in the finals losing to the Lightning. They do look legit. And I did say when when Blackwood got traded there from the Sharks this season, I said I do believe Blackwood wins a cup there at some point. That team is built to win for a while. Oh, NJ Fanatic, I can't even show your comment about Messier in Game 6 in that series. Cody Skills, I wouldn't be surprised if someone gets Marner for cheap. No way, man. Marner's going to sign for bonkers money. Probably 13, 14 million, I would say. Yeah, Marner ain't signing for cheap. There's going to be a lot of people looking for him. Craig, thanks, Ace. We are enjoying your channel from New Zealand. Cheers, pal. Cheers from New Jersey. Glad you joined us here tonight. Yeah, we didn't have social media growing up, thank God. Amagi, what's up? Marner's not signing for cheap. People are high on him, even though he has a reputation for being soft. I think it's interesting to watch the dispute between hockey fans. Yeah, listen, if I was a fan of a different team, that had some grittier guys and could use a skill guy, I'd be thrilled to get him. Listen, I'd still be thrilled if the Devils got him, but I do think there are other players that would be more fitting the mold of what we need. But obviously, if the Devils got him, I'd be thrilled. It's not realistic because of the money he's going to get. But he's obviously a great player, but I do feel that money would be spent better elsewhere for the Devils. John Faces, what do you think he's going to sign for Amagi? How weird is it that Blackwood is really good? I don't think it's that weird. He showed flashes of it when he was a Devil. He couldn't consistently do it. There were some bad Devils teams. He had the injury stuff going on, and so he never really could get in a groove. He kind of developed some more in San Jose, and then he goes to a juggernaut in Colorado, and now he's in position to win a cup at some point in the next few seasons. Sunrise Arts, who would you rather transport from a time machine for tomorrow, John Madden or Bobby Holik? Oof. What year of each one? That matters too. But if you're going like best versus best, probably Holik, just because he's going to bring a little more physicality. But, man, it'd be amazing to have John Madden, too. Jay Snow, we're about to be we're supposed to be cup contenders by now. We're not even close. Yeah, it is frustrating. That is frustrating. I do agree. We had that franchise-setting season, and where are we now? Steps backwards, but it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to go watch these games. Appreciate you for joining here tonight. I'll probably do a pregame tomorrow, but I'm not sure. That 6 o'clock time is weird. So I'm not sure. But listen, guys, we're not out of this friggin' thing. We're not out of this thing just yet. We're down 1-0. A win tomorrow changes everything. That's all you have to remember. As discouraging as game one was, it is all out the friggin' window. And if we win tomorrow, then the Devils did what they had to do. They went into Raleigh and got a split. On the flip side, obviously losing is a complete catastrophe, and coming home to the Rock down 0-2 is disgusting. That would be a disgusting fate to suffer, but I am not counting them out. Again, because they've been inconsistent, I'm hoping we see the good version of the team tomorrow. We saw the bad version in game one. Let's see the good version in game two. Markey's got to stand on his head. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Get pucks on net. Generate some more offense. Score the first goal in the game. And hopefully get a win. And then everything's different. If that series comes back to New Jersey 1-1, it's a whole new world, my friends. A whole new world indeed. And so I still have hope. As discouraging as game one was, I'm hoping we see the better version of the team in game two. And that's it, guys. Thanks for joining. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do the pregame, but obviously I'll be here for the postgame. We need a win, and I'm super jacked up for it. I've been kind of mentally stewing on this pathetic loss all day long, just thinking about when we're going to get back out there and try to get back in the win column. We definitely need it, but I'm not giving up just yet, guys. They still got a shot. As long as Markstrom's got a breath in his lungs, as long as Markey has life. In Markey, we trust. The Devils got to go out there. They got to do it. I'll be back tomorrow. I am hoping the series is tied 1 apiece, and what a difference it would be. What a difference it would be coming back tied at 1. But thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.